Welcome back to the Working Well podcast and another episode in our 52 Life Lessons series. I'm Tim Borys. Now, today's lesson, it's one that took me, a couple decades and a few hard knocks to truly understand. And I call it, Who Are You Without the Title? To put it another way, you are more than your income, your job title, or the letters after your name. Now, of course, that sounds obvious. Maybe even it's cliche. But here's the truth. It's a lesson that most high achievers learn the hard way. And it's one that I learned far too late in my life. See, for a big chunk of my life, my self-talk went something like this. When I make X number of dollars, I'll finally have time for my family. When my business hits Y level, I'll finally be respected in the industry or as a business owner. When I achieve Z, I'll finally be happy. Now, from experience, I can tell you and I can confirm that mindset trap is sneaky and nasty. It ties your happiness, your health, and your sense of identity to some future event that never actually arrives. Because as soon as you get close, you move the goalposts. You start telling yourself, well, that wasn't quite it. I just need to get to this next level and then I'll be satisfied. But the truth is, that satisfaction never comes. In truth, it's a bit like a junkie seeking the next hit. Now, not necessarily for the same reasons. Over the years, I had the privilege of coaching thousands of clients, high performers, highly successful people. These are entrepreneurs, executives, elite professionals. And what was fascinating was that they often split almost into two evenly split groups. One group was happy, fulfilled, and living their best life. The other group was stressed, restless, miserable, even though from the outside, they looked like they had it made. The difference isn't how much money they had, how high they climbed in their corporations, how successful their businesses were, what they achieved. It's how they defined success. And more importantly, how they defined themselves. Because here's what I've noticed. The closer that high performers often get to success, the more likely they are to keep moving the finish line. They achieve incredible things, but they rarely stop to celebrate. They're so focused on the next milestone that they don't even allow themselves to feel successful. And I get this. I get it at a visceral level because it was me for many years. I've accomplished a lot in my life, from playing sports on the international stage to building multiple businesses and getting the privilege of working with incredible clients all over the world. I've traveled to 50 countries. I've experienced so many amazing things, but for years, I never felt like it was enough. I was constantly pushing for the next win, believing that once I got there, I'd finally feel successful. And it wasn't until much later that I realized how flawed that thinking was. For over 2 decades, I had tied my identity and my self-worth to external results. And even when I reached those results, it didn't change how I felt inside. It took hitting what I'll call a few personal and professional walls for me to realize that I'd been playing the wrong game. The truth is, our external accomplishments are temporary. They can be taken away. They can be changed or forgotten. But your values, your integrity, and your relationships, that's what define you. And having this mindset shift changed everything for me. I've since come to learn and internalize the fact that success is not a destination, as we all know, and again, that cliche, but it's when you start to viscerally understand that, it becomes so much more real. And again, that mindset shift changes in an instant. Success is a byproduct of living in alignment with who you are and what matters to you most. When I started focusing less on the outcomes and more on the person I was becoming along the way, that's when everything changed. I began asking myself a new set of questions. Who do I want to be while I'm working towards my goals? How do I want to show up each day? Am I living according to my values, or am I sacrificing them to chase external validation? Take a moment to have those questions absorbed for you. The moment I started answering those questions honestly, my relationships improved, my energy came back, and ironically, my business performance went up. Because when your identity is solid, the external stuff becomes a reflection of that strength, not a replacement for it. Now, here's the part where I'm going to challenge you. I don't want you to just listen to this podcast and then move on to the next episode or move on to another podcast. I encourage you, please take at least 10 minutes today to really sit with these next 3 questions I'm going to ask you. Feel free to write them down if you want. Pause the podcast. Question number 1. If your title, your income, and your achievements disappeared tomorrow, what would still make you proud of who you are? Question number 2. Where are you currently saying "when I" in your life? And what could you do today to live into that version of yourself right now? Question number 3. Which relationships or parts of your life have suffered because of your external chase for validation? And what's one small step you can take this week to repair or reinvest in them? Now, these questions might feel uncomfortable. This is the real work of personal growth. It's going to be tempting for you to just skip by this, say, I'll do it later. I encourage you, pause right now. Set a reminder in your phone, a timer to go off later tonight to sit and reflect on these questions. This is how you stop letting the external world define your internal worth. Now, final thought. If you're like me and you've spent years equating achievement with identity, please hear this. It's not too late to change. The fact that it took me over 20 years to learn this lesson makes me more grateful for what it's taught me. It's reshaped how I see myself, how I lead, and how I live. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons I'm sharing it with you today. As the saying goes, smart people learn from their mistakes. Brilliant people learn from the mistakes that smart people have made. So if you can take even one thing from my story, let it be this. You are not your title. You are not your paycheck. You are the person you choose to be every day in how you think, how you act, and how you treat others. So stop waiting for when. Start living like the person you want to become right now. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode resonated with you, please reach out and let me know. And I encourage you to check out the rest of the 52 Life Lessons series, as well as our interviews with thought leaders from around the world. You can find those at timboris.com/podcast or on your favorite podcast platform. Lastly, if you know someone who's chasing success but forgetting themselves in the process, please share this episode with them. Until next time, keep thinking well, living well, and being well. And I'll see you soon. That wraps up another episode of the Working Well podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Now, which guests or topics would you like to see featured on the show? Message me through LinkedIn or on the contact page of timboris.com with your ideas. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tim Borys with Fresh Wellness Group, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.